Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
I don't know if we can do the show today. I'm laughing too hard. Tom Sokolowski is here with me.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's August 23rd. Yeah. And it's such sophomoric stuff that
yes,
we're laughing.
Yes, it is.
We're laughing about farts.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What it was is there was Lynn found a nugget, shall we say,
Yes.
about a man
Who lived, indeed.
in the late 19th century. Well, no, he lived from 1857 to 1945, and his stage name was Le Petoman, which basically means the fartomaniac. And they make the point in this article that he eclipsed the great actress Sarah Bernhardt.
In terms of what?
Of her fame. I mean, it was said about Sarah Bernhardt that she could recite the Marseillaise and make people cry because she was just, and she had one wooden leg. But this guy, he could fart in many sounds, and he would describe them as the young girl fart, the mother-in-law
fart.
He could play
the bride fart.
Yes, he could play
the
a
bride.
flute.
Yes, he could play the flute.
Blow out a candle at 10 feet away.
But did you? And he had a stage.
Yes.
Act. I mean, the theaters would be packed. He packed them in, and he would take to the stage. And can you imagine? I mean, the how many different ways he could.
Yes, and tones and sounds.
And I don't know if you got to the place in the article where he also did this amazing stuff with water.
Yes, right.
Right. He could suck incredible amounts of water up his rectum and then, I don't know, disperse it in certain ways. It's amazing.
I mean, really. And we got to this, by the way, listeners, by talking about the fanny, the very nice fanny of Prince Harry. So that we're all below the belt.
Oh, God,
and in the rear
we've been
today.
terrible. We've been terrible. So I must admit, I went looking for the picture.
Oh, so did I. Yeah.
Everybody, you have to, don't you?
And he looked pretty good, I have to say.
Well, he's got
nice body,
It's a young man's body.
And somebody who's been in the military, so he's probably had to do all sorts of calisthenics.
Yes, so no fat on him.
No fat
appear
on
to
him,
be.
Yeah.
Well-formed. Oh, God.
So the theme of the show of princes and farts.
Princes and farts. And yes, princes do
fart, yes.
Yes, they do. It's hard for us to even imagine. Okay.
So one thing was sort of sober. I was telling Glenn earlier that I was listening to this show with her sister the other day, and then to Chris for a bit of it yesterday, and talking about the nation, the nature of the country. And I remember you were saying how your sister, well, hearing her say, she was scared about this moment in history because of all the lunatics. And I thought of that because there was something I couldn't find in the paper this morning, but it was on the radio, NPR yesterday, about the city and maybe county too, I'm not sure, of Lubbock in Texas. Now we're not
Lubbock, Texas.
I always remember on not Dynasty. What was that? Dallas. All the retarded, and pardon the use, not like.
Oh, see, you can't say it.
I didn't say it the way he did. No, all the sort of What would
moronic?
moronic?
Oh, no, you can't say it.
Moronic
all the
people.
Idiots? No, you can't say it.
Who are
Cretins? No, you can't say it.
I'll stick with cretins.
The intellectually challenged.
Challenged, yes, and physically challenged. But anyway,
came from Lubbock.
Members of the dynasty that came from Lubbock.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not Dallas, it's not Houston, it's not Austin. But anyway, Lubbock. And they are trying by the election, this next election, to have one of these millage taxes added on. How we've done like for the library.
Millage. Yeah. Oh, it's just a little bit. Tacked on that would go to the library.
You know what for? No. As this man who was like county executive or whatever he was, maybe he was mayor, he believes that President Obama, if he is reelected, will, because of things going on in Lubbock that he believes the president doesn't like, he didn't itemize, he will bring in the National Guard to take over the
This is the way, the mayor of
or
Lubbock?
some political official.
Some big shot in Lubbock.
And he said, I don't want no National Guard, and I'm going to stand on the City Hall steps like George Wallace did, and they will get, if they did this millage thing, $800,000 more, and that would allow them to hire $800,000 worth of militias to stand with him.
To take on the National Guard.
No, the United Nations.
Oh, he thinks the United Nations is coming.
And I thought, what is he talking about?
And now this is in an area of the country where to ask people to agree to a tax increase
is not very easy.
Yeah,
right.
Forget about it. It ain't going to happen. But for this?
I mean, I couldn't believe
what
it was
if
so
this
moronic.
were to pass? No, this maybe has a shot.
It probably does.
Because that's how moronic these people are.
Now, I tried to be, as a semi-sentient person, I thought, well, was this maybe some moronic but response to, many people, I don't know what you feel about this, but sort of disagreeing with this new wrinkle that has come up that Cameron and Obama have maybe agreed to send troops into
Syria? No.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying that's not what it is.
It probably isn't.
Because there's these conspiracy theories on the right that have definitely gotten into, I guess, really just sort of it's the popular wisdom among the Fox News set that if Obama's reelected, he's essentially going to take over. And the United Nations is going to, of course,
and that was probably more. That's maybe more of the offensive thing than whatever racist, whatever. It's just like to put the United Nations as some sort of nefarious guerrilla.
Well, who was this
force.
guy I was talking about? It was a guy who's going to be the senator from Texas. Because he won the Republican primary. This is the seat that Kay Bailey Hutchinson held.
Yeah.
And he's a Tea Partier.
Par excellence.
Yes, par excellence. He was Sarah Palin's choice. His name is Cruz. Remember the name, Cruz. And he actually...
Latino?
He must have some Latino. He must be Cruz. Anyway, apparently... he believes that if Obama's reelected, the United Nations is going to, what was it, Jess? Outlaw golf courses and paved roads.
Yeah. That's as good as the final maniac.
This is a guy who's going to be a senator, just as Aiken in Missouri could well be a senator. This is now what constitutes the upper chamber.
Well,
of
and
the
also
US
you sort of think, if Mr. Obama was indeed the malevolent, whatever, dictator they want him to be, would the first thing you do be to outlaw golf courses?
He likes to play golf a bit, doesn't he?
Well, right. Oh, I have no idea.
No, I don't think he's much of a golfer.
But I mean, that sounds like the most lunatic. That sounds like one of those movies. What's that guy's name? The comedian who did the...
Yeah, who did Spinal Tap.
No.
Who did...
The guy, the Jewish comedian who played the...
Oh, what do you mean Jewish comedian? That's almost like an oxymoron.
It's the oxymoron. No,
it's a redundancy.
No, but I mean, he did his last film...
screwed up in the same way. I don't know.
He did his last film, The Dictator, and then...
Borat.
Yeah, it sounds like something out of Borat. I mean, God, are people so stupid? I can't believe.
No, you can't. You cannot believe it. And who did I hear talking yesterday? He's a Republican.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Mark McKinnon. He was a Republican,
chief of staff or something.
Yeah, I mean, why can't when the two of us are together, we can't finish sentences.
I know.
And I know it's like two old farts. Jesus.
Well, that's our theme.
Farts. I know. Coming full circle.
Wait till next week's show. We're going to have
Terry, whatever his name is. No, Terry McAuliffe is Mark McKinnon.
Yeah.
And he's a, believe it or not, somewhat moderate Republican he said that his daughter asked him a question the other day. How can you tolerate being affiliated with these people?
Poops.
I mean, at a point, is there a point at which you say, I'm out of here because,
Sure,
I have too much, I mean, even like self-respect, whatever self-respect,
yeah.
I cannot do this anymore. Be, part of a party, of a group that espouses these views and warmly welcomes these nincompoops. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, the Democratic Party has plenty of its nincompoops
as well.
But nothing. You cannot make up. It is now beyond satire. You can't. It's
beyond satire, right? I agree with you.
It's why when you read The Onion now, it's not as funny. It is not as funny.
No,
because reality's funnier.
Yeah, exactly.
If it weren't, as you just again going full circle, if it weren't, as my sister said, so scary.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you, just to get serious.
All right.
Where do baby carrots come from? Well, no, seriously, where do baby carrots come from? Do you think that really is? They pull them before they're...
No, you know why? Because...
Chlorine or something.
What do you mean?
No.
They do.
Jess is saying they dip them in chlorine. What are you saying?
Really? No, well, you know what?
They take a full carrot and drop it in something and it shrinks?
No, they do pull them out, but something like that.
Well, you know what I think? No. I don't know about that.
Don't believe a word you're about to hear.
She's a Republican.
Okay? Yeah, right, yeah.
No, I think it's when you literally see bunches that have come from the ground but are small carrots. They look like a big carrot, but really teeny with that sort of wispy end. The others, I bet you any money. I don't know this. I bet you know, but you can get these like huge carrots, and I bet they grind them down. From a big carrot, because the ends usually the ones you get, in those bags.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That
makes more sense. You hear what he's saying? They take a big carrot, and they have machines that create these sort of.
They're like carrot.
But they're not uniform.
Carrot McNuggets.
Yeah, right. But they're not uniform.
But neither is the carrot. I mean, because it diminishes at the end, so the bits of the end would have to be narrower than the ones. That's
like a metaphor for life. Diminishes at the end.
Oh, how nice. Withering heights.
Yes, exactly.
Weathering depths.
It reminds me of my dear, dear, dear father, now gone. When, for the last, 15 years of his life, when I would say, to him, how you doing, Dad? How are you, Dad? He always had the same response, and he didn't mean it to be funny, but he was a man of words, and he had found the exact right word he had. He would say... I'm diminished. And he was. He was diminished. Of course. And so when you asked him 6 months later, and he said, I'm diminished, he meant that too. He just this very slow.
And it's true, in terms of speed, it's true of mental acuity. It's true in people of height. He was
6'2".
Yeah.
And... by the time he died, he wasn't much taller than me. So you're shrinking.
Yeah, because your bones.
You're shrinking.
Yeah,
he was thinner.
And it's very sad.
Head wasn't. No, but this is the end of life.
Well, no, but I mean the fact that by saying diminished, he was, as you said, he was a gentleman of words. He knew what all that meant. Like, I'm sad. People say, I'm sad or I'm bored.
Well,
but diminished really means. No, I know what it means. But
he's a realist.
Well, yeah.
There's courage in that.
Yeah.
He's not one who was going to say, oh, these are the golden years.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right, yeah. Oh, 80 is the new 50.
Right, exactly. We would want to see Prince Harry's bum when he was 80.
No, we probably don't want to. We probably don't. Oh, dear Lord. I know. Can't make it up. Okay.
Oh, here, let's see.
PJ says... even in the case of legitimate harvesting, the Republican Party is against the use of baby carrots.
Touche.
Because, baby carrots have rights, too.
The zygote carrots. Oh, you know what's interesting? I wanted to, because with Chris, you were talking yesterday about the point of, from the religious point of view, when,
life
Jews
begins.
and Christians.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I didn't realize that in Judaism, one doesn't believe, at least at some point, in uterine a being exists. At least
I do not believe so. I read this thing, and obviously in Judaism there's the real Orthodox, there's this. But no, I guess, if you look at the Jewish teaching, that the mother, the life of a living woman takes absolute precedence. Absolute precedence. And why would it not? And the more I read about these Republicans, and here, Paul Ryan, for instance, he does not believe in any exceptions. And this is what Potter yesterday said when I said the Republican platform on abortion was, no exceptions. You could be raped by your father, and you cannot get an abortion. But he said, but life of the mother. And I didn't know. I said, yeah, and I don't.
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about this after the show.
Right here. It says right here. Mr. Romney supports abortion exceptions in cases of rape, incest, or when the mother's life is endangered. Mr. Ryan does not. So in other words, Ryan would sacrifice the woman's life for the unborn.
Well, remember, see that?
That is mind-blowing to me.
Wait. Well, no, remember we talked about this at the end after the show last week, that as a Catholic, and Mr. Ryan is a Catholic, and presumably a very conservative one, I remember we were told, remember I was saying this, that in school we'd be led through these little, what do you do? But, and I remember the thing would be, now boys, when you're married, and of course everyone was going to be married.
Little did they know that you could be married to another man.
Exactly. Or that Sister Rose Eileen was a man, But, and the doctor comes out after,
and says,
and there's, a problem. What do? We can only save one. And the Catholic answer was, boys, you must save the child. And the reason for this was the mother, whether she was knocked up as a teenager in a legitimate rape or whatever his words were, or she was a woman of 45 or whatever, probably earlier in those years, she had her time to live, to prove to God that she was a good woman or a middling woman or a bad woman, and the child didn't. So the child had to be offered its course of life. And that was it probably hasn't changed.
This is, clearly, if the woman could say, is told, it's you or the baby.
Yeah, then
and the woman
choice.
says,
yeah, right.
I want my baby to live.
Yeah.
I've lived.
Yeah.
That's her choice.
Right.
And again, choice.
Yeah.
And it's the woman's choice, for God's sake.
No.
Oh, dear Lord, dear Lord. Okay, here's one more question.
But we were saying also, you said, Jilla, made me think, we're going to hope that that God or whoever, Harry, the weathercaster on the news sends a hurricane right to Tampa, in the middle of...
I was saying to the guy in the elevator, I was riding up, and, I said, I've just been thinking about how wondrous is this hurricane aiming right for Tampa. God should only make it a bullseye and hitting exactly when they want to start. And this is what's so wonderful. The hurricane bears the powerfully biblical name of Isaac.
Oh, really?
Isaac.
Right.
But
Isaac was spared, though, remember?
But Isaac was one of the major patriarchs. If you're a Jew, it's Abraham, Isaac.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he was a patriarch.
Right. We believe me, in Hebrew prayers, he is intoned often.
But he's the one where when God tells Abraham to
spare
sacrifice.
him. Yeah. Right. Isaac was spared, but then Isaac
becomes another. Okay.
He takes over after Abraham. So you've got one of the originals coming at him in the form of a hurricane. If this had been the Democratic convention, can you imagine the yahoos like Robertson and all the others intoning
Yeah, right.
Hey,
of course, right.
I mean,
of course.
how much more evidence do you need?
Yeah, right,
that
exactly.
God
Yeah,
is
right.
enraged.
Now, I have a silly question, which is, I thought hurricanes were always named after women.
No, well, that
When
was
did
in
they
the good
start?
old days when the women finally said,
No, I
hey,
know, but I don't
buddy,
remember
enough.
any male ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's...
Really?
What?
Well, I was thinking of like Katrina and all these.
Okay, give me a famous male one right now. Hurricane...
think of-
oh, yes.
All right,
I forget all their...
Okay. This has been for a while?
I'd say they've had male names for about, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years.
Really? Wow, how funny. I always think of the...
I think they go,
ones.
so
Oh,
the
yeah,
next
flips.
one will
Yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah. Well, that
the
makes
next one
sense,
will...
yeah.
And also, they were probably running out of female names.
Maybe, right, exactly. This is Mamie, too. Mamie Jr.
But I'm sure it was considered all of a sudden to be sexist.
Well, I'm sure. Well, the other stupid thing is you would think, I mean, forgetting Republicans and who they are, but, this is a major event with all sorts of months, years of preparation. Why pick, like, a Gulf city
It seems
in this time of year when the chances of a hurricane, even if it's not divine intervention...
Well, the Democrats are going to be in Charlotte,
But
right?
that I don't think is the
Charlotte can
slightest.
certainly get a bad...
Yeah, bad weather, the Outer Banks and all that, but... well, it's farther up, but...
But it's close enough to the ocean.
Yeah, right.
But they all go south because
Yeah.
I don't care what the history books say, the South won the war.
Right, exactly.
I mean, really, look at the Yahoos. They're out and about.
The last great unpleasantness, as it was once told to me.
Are
That's
you
the Civil
kidding?
War.
That's what it was called?
Well, first they say the War of Northern Aggression. This is about ladies, grand ladies from Richmond, which was the capital of the
Melanie
Confederacy.
reminds us of a Hurricane Ivan.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't
one.
remember him?
No.
See, I don't remember names of people, names of her, anything that's got a name, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. But they were the last great unpleasantness. And I said, what?
Oh, Lynn, Gigi writes, you're going to get me ranting again. I already ranted this morning on the subject of Ryan's no exceptions for abortion. I can't believe the discussions we are having. My father's mother died from a pregnancy-related complication 80-some years ago when my dad was 3 years old. One of my father's lasting memories was seeing his mother in her coffin as he said goodbye to her. I think he would have preferred to have her around. Oh,
Of course.
brother. Hey, that brings up another question.
Yes.
And it's an article I came across this morning again, is why don't we have memories of being really young? Well, you don't have any. Really, when you start thinking of your first memories and then you don't know if you've even made them up, I think it's beyond the age of 2. I think I have to get to like around 3 before I have, and I only have like
Oh, I certainly
one.
don't have an infantile memory.
No, you don't. You're incapable of it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at a little baby yesterday and having the same thought, waiting for the bus, and her mother was carrying her, and the kid was looking around and sort of looking at everything that was going by. I was thinking, what is going on in her head right now? And then her mother sort of like she was a sack of potatoes, like this, and then sort of pull her over here, and the baby is just totally, And I thought, this baby, this person who's going to grow up will have no memory of any of this.
Well, maybe that's
part
good.
Of her. Well, no, it's okay. I don't think the mother was being. It's just.
No, but I'm saying it was.
It was just sort of like. I was looking at it, I was thinking, what? So, first memory, earliest memory, and people who say, I don't like, my brother thinks he has a first memory of, like, I don't know when he's 6 months old or something, and I don't think that's possible. I don't know.
Well, is anyone out there?
When do you think your earliest memory is? You don't even know what your earliest
I can't think of anything.
Do you know this is the one the only one I can remember, because I have very few memories of being in the house that my family had until I was 5. The few just sort of just flickers, nothing much. Sitting, the cars driving by would make shadows on the wall.
Well, now, do you think? Well, that's a.
I used to sit on the couch and say, goodbye, Uncle so-and-so, goodbye. I do remember that, but I think I had to be 3, 4 or something. I have a frightening memory and this will be funny, I think, to you, although it was terrifying to me. I remember being asleep in my bed, and there was a window, right there was a headboard, and then there was a window. And it was December 24th. Now, the reason I remember it was December 24th is I knew it was Christmas Eve.
Right.
My family did not celebrate Christmas, but it was all around me. And I was aware that Santa Claus was flying around the sky.
That's cute.
And I was
you were frightened?
Terrified.
Oh, how funny.
I was lying there and scared to I was so afraid that he could be right out there and what? And because to me it wasn't
part of your tradition. And
it was scary, guy. He wasn't coming to my house.
Yeah, right. Maybe
he was not
cold.
coming. No, he was. I knew he wasn't. And so isn't that weird that my memory, my first and really only memory of Santa Claus is of sort of supernatural terror.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid I might hear him or see him or something. That's
funny.
the only. It was.
You know what I was thinking when you were saying that, especially the business of the shadows. I wonder how much, in many cases, because I was trying to think of some things, whether these memories are engendered by photographs.
Yes.
Like you see yourself in a pool and say, "Oh, you were in that baby
I remember
pool."
that. Whether you do or not. That's exactly when I said I have very few memories of that house. Immediately, I thought of these pictures that are
well, it's
there.
so funny when we did.
But I don't remember.
Well, when we did the Kennedy, the Warhol Museum years ago, a show on the Kennedy assassination, since that was so important in Warhol's work, and for so many of us, that was.
Oh, sure.
I was 13, I think. No, 11, 13, yeah. But anyway, and we did something where the notion was, you could say to someone, and they'd immediately start saying, "Oh, I was here," and it was something we looked up from psychologists talking about. They're called flashbulb memories, and how you can see a picture and all of a sudden it's just, or you think about it and it'd be like you were there yesterday.
Well, it's like the Proustian thing of
a bad line.
A smell.
Well, smell is the most.
Smell is the strongest sensual memory.
Because people feel it's because the baby smells the mother's birth canal when they're coming out. So that's the first sensory thing of the outside that they have. And that's why if you take a baby and you make, like they say, if mothers die or something, that they will get nurses or someone to hold the babies and put them on their skin. But babies can sense that it's not the same person because they have different smells.
They know the smell.
They're very animalistic in a way.
Well, absolutely. And we're so sort of divorced from our sense of smell. You look at animals, dogs, cats.
Farts,
and they're taking in everything with their noses. We cover up odor. We consider smells somehow awful. There's a few baking cookies and the smell of certain foods cooking, but otherwise we don't like smells.
No.
And we wash more than we have to, and we don't even like normal human smells. Right,
that's true, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's true. So, I remember once when I was maybe 20 or so, I was in a position of some intimacy with this French person, and he reeked of body odor. And I think I actually said something like, "Hey, and he became, this is how a man smells. And he was right. But I'd never really smelled it. I have to tell you, I'd never smelled it because I live in America where we shave our underarms and we do, you get in an elevator in Paris on a hot day.
It's like an abattoir.
You can pass out. If you're an American. And my brother used to say, because he was somewhat of an expert in medieval times.
I thought you were saying smells.
Well, he says that if you were to, if you think, oh, I would love to be able to be, in that to experience it, to time travel. He said you'd last about 5 minutes, and you would literally swoon from the odor.
Oh, right.
And I say, oh, no, but how about I'll be at the court. I'll be with the upper class. You will pass out.
Well, that's why
within
they had these. I can't remember the word in French, but it looked like an Easter egg.
And you smell it. You would
and it was because pomade, I think they called it originally. But no, not pomade.
Pomade is for your
Well, whatever. And these things was because people smelled because these gowns were so complicated to clean.
And you couldn't wash all the time.
No.
And God, I can't even imagine.
Oh,
you would
it was having bugs in there, these big hairdos,
Oh, God.
No, but it must have been horrible.
Horrible. But it was life, and so they didn't, this is how people smell, they would have said. Okay, Allison wants to know, and I was wondering this too, Allison, and I don't know. If he doesn't win, does he keep his House seat? I do not think so.
We're talking about Ryan here?
No, Aiken.
Oh, Aiken.
Because in both cases. Because I think, oh no, Ryan can. I believe.
Yes, because of the Lyndon Johnson law.
The Lyndon Johnson law.
Yeah.
But doesn't that apply to... Okay, so...
No, but here it's about, I think the two terms overlap.
Whatever.
Because, in other words, Ryan he's up for re-election. And if he gets re-elected, in this case, I think with Aiken, his House seat, because the Senate and, what do you call it?
Well, House is every 2 years. It's constant.
Yeah, so that may be what she's saying, Well,
somebody must be running for his seat then, or another Republican.
Oh.
I don't know.
No, well,
yeah,
I guess
you can't, because if he were to win the Senate, they wouldn't have a congressman.
That's right.
If anyone knows the answer to this, obviously.
Ray from Lawrenceville always knows everything. If he's listening, Ray, tell us.
But Allison's got lots of questions. When the Republicans had the House, the Senate, and the presidency for 6 years under W. Bush, why didn't all this abortion stuff come up then?
Don't know.
They were too busy creating wars. That's the other thing they like. No abortion, and every possible war we can wage.
Exactly.
That's what they're about. She says, I think the convention's going to be a blast, literally, if Isaac has anything to say about it. And how will Sarah Palin insert herself? Is she going? And what will
I thought she wasn't offered a place.
But she'll be there.
Oh, I'm sure.
What will be Trump's surprise? I don't know.
What's interesting about Sarah Palin, wasn't she supposed, there was talk, and this is maybe a year ago, because she's really been quite quiet. I thought she was going to be, a newscaster kind of person. It would be perfect for her to be there going around with a microphone a la Katie
No,
Couric.
I think they figured out the Palins have found their calling.
Which is?
They do reality shows.
Well, but not her.
She had her own show.
Sarah Palin did?
I never watched it. Yes, she did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She had her own show for a while. Bristol has had, and Bristol's coming back on Dancing, and she's going to be coming back with Dancing with the Stars, and even her ex, the father of her child, I believe he has a show, and
he was
Todd,
nude, in Playgirl.
Todd, Sarah's husband, is now on a reality show, which I happened to watch because I just had to. That's the one where...
Big Brother?
No, where the general...
Oh, yes. It's some stupid show where they have quasi-stars.
Quasi-stars like Todd Palin. And no, they have to do the kinds of things that these Navy SEALs do. Well, I watched the first one, and it was mind-boggling. But Todd came out very well.
Well, because he's a He-Man kind of person.
Well, but the people who didn't come out well were the guys who play He-Man in the movies.
Wow.
They're like struggling and sputtering and having to be rescued, and Todd had to carry the weight of one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right. So Todd ended up looking heroic. I think that's how they're going to make money. Speaking of, oh God, and we have to take a break. I happened to read something last night in the paper, and it was about a reality show. I never watched these things, but they were saying how it is the hottest new reality show. Everybody's watching it. Most people who watch it say they hate it, but they cannot turn away. And it was called something like Honey Boo Boo.
Here comes Honey Boo Boo.
Ah! See, Jess knows. Here comes Honey Boo Boo. And so I looked at the clock. It said it was on Wednesday nights at 10. It was 10:20. I quickly turned it on. Good God Almighty.
What? No, I've not heard of
You don't
this.
even want to know. But if this is what passes for.
What is the premise?
Honey Boo Boo is an overweight little child who first came to America's attention as one of the kids in another reality show called Toddlers and Tiaras. She's
I think I saw one of those.
And she was so horrific, and her family, that so there was a spin-off. They said, geez, these people are golden. So now they've got, this becomes like a family business if you're freaky enough.
Yeah, right.
And this family is so grotesque. You cannot begin.
And so this Honey Boo Boo creature wants to be one of these pageant things.
Here comes Honey Boo Boo.
The one that was killed.
Listen, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo is less about Honey Boo Boo, from what I can tell, than about her mother. Her mother, who weighs 600 pounds and has no problem with it, and is like you see her in bathing suits. This is a family that, in order to have fun together, they all get on these like 4-track little, what do they call those things? ATVs? All-terrain vehicles? Those little things. And they go riding into mud. And then they're all like dripping in mud, and they're throwing, you cannot, they're like pigs in shit. I am
what
not
channel?
kidding. And in fact, they have a pet pig.
The Learning Channel.
And in fact, they have a pet pig. I couldn't, and the question is, oh, God, they've got to just be putting this on. And so the article I read in the paper, it was in the PG, I think, yesterday. They said they talked to the neighbors, the reporters, and they said, they were like that before the cameras came? And
well, everything I've read, now these people sound...
These are total rednecks.
Too much, but...
And you know what else? Wait, I just say one thing. They have to subtitle it because you can't understand a word they say.
Well, they're Southern, or?
Yeah, they're Southern, of course.
McIntyre, Georgia.
Okay.
McIntyre, Georgia. You cannot understand a word they say. These are, and I'll tell you one thing, I bet. They vote Republican.
If they vote?
If they vote. We got to take a break. Bye.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Howard Allen Events returns to Walnut Street in Shadyside. The 15th annual Shadyside, the art festival on Walnut Street, will be held August 25th and 26th, transforming this popular shopping district into an outdoor art gallery with an eclectic mix of the country's top established artists, as well as new and emerging talent. Admission is free and open to the public. Showtimes are Saturday 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, call 412-682-1298 or log on to www.artfestival.com.
Pittsburgh City Paper is now available on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com to read this week's digital issue or search for restaurants, bars, concerts, events, and movies on any portable device. Plus blogs, Lynn Cullen, City Guide, CPTV, and Best of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
All right. Well, I really don't. Okay, let's. I'm sorry. The level of conversation today, Tom, is disappointing.
From final. No, but the point is. It is. I mean, yeah. Think about what we talk. We talk about Fartomaniac, the third line to the air of the throne of England, showing his fanny. Here comes Honey Boo Boo. I mean, it's our world, dear. From the crown to the throne. I mean, the toilet. No, I mean, it's our world. We're not making these things up.
No, and the worst part is we stop laughing at that. All that stuff that you just mentioned really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But
it might be
then
an
people feeling
indication of
that
some kind of.
Mr. Obama's going to take out golf courses.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just as lunatic.
I know.
I don't know. I mean,
we are when
did America get so dumb?
Okay, but you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
What we are living in and through, although I don't through suggests that we'll come out the other side, and I don't think we will. This clearly is the end of Western civilization.
Well, I mean,
this is civilization.
Well, on that though, I mean, I think one has to see trajectories are hard to know about when you're in them. I mean, in other words.
But that's what I'm saying. What do you think? This is an upswing?
No. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, is it like if the Republicans get in, they're not going to be in forever. But how much dirt can they, do?
The damage they can
true.
do. We're at a point where we either have to start dealing with things or we're going to go down. Ansel writes, the Romney campaign has not invited Palin to speak at or even attend. Yeah, but she can attend. I mean, I'm sure she can get a credential from somebody.
Yeah, sure, I would think so. Yeah, sure. But isn't that interesting that she's thought to be so poisonous now? Because that's the only reason. I mean, if they thought she would be useful, they certainly would invite her. And she is a good speaker, one has to admit, But that's interesting. She's thought to be so poisonous. And it's probably true. I mean, probably if there had been someone else.
There are more poisonous Republicans who will be on the floor of that.
True.
You know what would be incredible?
What?
I'm thinking this would serve these Republicans right. If while they're in their, convention,
Hortus conclusus,
Isaac comes and blows the roof off it, and they find themselves essentially in the same position as all those poor black people did in the that dome.
Oh yeah. In Houston, wasn't it? Yeah.
Houston?
Yes,
eventually, but I'm talking about when they're still in New Orleans.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, where the Saints play. And wouldn't that be nice if they were on the receiving end of the same wondrous generosity and of a Republican administration? The thing is that,
I wonder if he's going to speak, because wasn't he a rising star, that Bobby Jindal?
Yeah, he was one. He was on the list of possible vice presidents.
But I wonder if he'll speak. Because who's giving?
I don't think he's speaking.
Who's giving the keynote?
There's a rising Hispanic person, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, no, that's the Democrats. Oh. I don't know who the hell is. You know what? I avert my gaze. I can't look. I find watching the Republicans in action every bit as horrific as watching Honey Boo Boo. It's the same kind of train wreck thing.
Maybe they should invite her before.
No, would that they had the fartster come and do the national anthem.
Oh, dear. Okay. Oh, we'll probably get a call about that.
Oh, please. Give me a break. Oh, Tom.
So what else is in the news?
Wait, I got one.
Okay.
One more, and then we'll do it. Speaking of childhood memories, anytime I hear about the Kennedy assassination, I think of the house I grew up in because, although it was 6 years before my birth, my parents moved into the house that I lived in the day after JFK was killed. Anytime they talked about their first house, the conversation went to Kennedy. So that's how the memories are linked for me. Talk about cognitive dissonance. Childhood and assassination. People think I did the below painting because of some natural history, but it's very personal. Without Oswald, Camelot would not be as nostalgic. What an anti-hero.
It's a very romantic view of Oswald.
Yeah, he looks actually handsome.
Sort of handsome, yeah.
But we'll look at there's a I don't know.
Yeah, don't you remember? I don't know how he got that, but I remember when they were pulling him in that basement.
Yeah.
When he got shot by
when he got shot.
Jack Ruby.
Very
remember
good,
those things.
Jack Ruby.
Although it's indelible. I mean, I remember those images just like it was yesterday.
Well, my memory. Well, who cares? You don't want to hear my memory. I happened to be home from school that day. I was sick. I was in bed.
How old were you?
What's the year? 60. Aren't I the same
63.
as you?
Well, I'm Well, I'm 62, but anyway. I mean, I was 13.
Well, so I was 13 or 14?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, well, 19,
yeah. What, you trying to make sure everybody knows I'm older than you?
No. I thought you were younger than I was.
Well, maybe you are.
Well, what year were you born in?
Okay. Everybody turned 48.
Oh, my God, then you were 15 then. Or maybe just about
Up yours! Sorry, you saying, wait a minute. So I'm a lot older than you.
Well, 2 years. 50. Okay. I was born in 1950.
Oh, yeah, you're more Susan's age. Oh, yeah, I'm older by quite a bit. Okay, so I was a teenager. I was home from school, and I was watching TV. So I saw them break in. I saw Walter. I could not. It was beyond belief.
Because it always beyond belief was, the horror of it, but that it was the first, this is what Warhol sort of captured, was that it was the first time that they broke through all of the, business, because other things had happened before. Like I remember some of the coverage the year and a half before of the Cuban Missile Crisis, those ships going. But it was the first time that TV was on for all hours. That never happened.
Well, this was when television, the power of television to sort of unite. Television played
very much. Oh, very much so.
Absolutely united the country because we all experienced everything the same. Everyone was doing the same thing. We were glued to our television sets for
and part
days
of it was due to the fact that with all the conspiracy stuff, was it Oswald? Where was Oswald? Did Oswald act alone? Who was Jack Ruby?
Well, when he got killed, that really freaked. And did you see that live? Because I did. That was live.
Oh, yeah, when Jack Ruby shot him. Oh, yeah. I remember it was Sunday morning.
Because as I'm saying, we were all glued to the set.
Yeah. Oh, no, I remember we were watching, and that guy, and you see him come out.
Just think we saw how many. Amazing. That has to be a murder eyewitnessed by more people than any other.
Well, I don't know about that nowadays. But nowadays, I'm trying to think of a murder.
No.
There has to have been now. And more people watch TV all over the world, so I would give that
live.
No, live. No, I'm sure there has been. I can't think of one.
If anyone can think of any murder
what's the biggest
with
murder
more eyewitnesses.
Yeah. No, but it was just because TV was so scripted back then. And, that was reality TV at the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing I remember, too, was the people...
the funeral, God, those drums, the cortege.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first time we saw that riderless horse with the boots
with
reversed.
The caisson.
And
and the salute.
And the little boy. Oh.
But that was Jackie, though. It's interesting. When I lecture about that, I always mention that she was aware that supposedly when she got back, to Washington after the assassination, she went through all these books because she knew it was important for the nation
to do this right.
And that she wanted JFK to be this
remembered in
hero.
A certain way. Right.
So it was going to be the whole tradition of almost antiquity. There's an art historian named Tom, I can't remember his name now, but who wrote an article. It was called Ask Not What. And his whole point about it was that, like in ancient Roman times, when you had two consuls every year, who were sort of over the Senate, sometimes, and they were thought to be the best and the brightest, like the Kennedy brothers, they needed to be somehow killed or assassinated because they couldn't be seen by the populace to age, to be corrupted, etc. So by Kennedy, and many people feel, and I'm one of those, that, a lot of his philandering and some of his political shenanigans as well wouldn't have gone down so well, but because he was assassinated in his youth,
of course.
He was beautiful, makes him, forever young,
forever young. That's right. Absolutely.
And,
there's no doubt about that.
So it's all about sort of rhetoric, really.
But for a woman who witnessed her husband's
that in the way.
Death,
oh, God.
Had his brain splattered all over her.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
then when she tried crawling out of the... Yeah.
To be able to suck it up, however she did that.
Yeah, right, sure.
And to think.
Yeah.
And to plan.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
And to keep her composure. And she was what, 33?
Something like
34? That. She was this young woman.
It was unbelievable. I have to tell one personal story about that. It was real up to more recent times, maybe about 20 years ago. I was invited to a very swanky dinner at NYU, and I was at the museum there. And, they needed an extra man or something, as often would happen. And so I went there, and we were chatting. It was going to be an art lecture for the best and the brightest, big funders. And I was chatting with a friend from the law school, and all of a sudden, the man who was in charge of this, the something society, said, "Oh, Tom and Jim, can I introduce you?" We turned.
It's Jackie.
And there was Jackie O. And both of us were like, But then I have to tell you, the funniest thing was, because of anyone to say, who would you like to meet? I mean, of all my life.
Really?
Oh, well, she was, like a goddess. Anyway, and this was after all the falderall, of course, with Onassis and all that bullshit. But anyway, and I remember she turned, and both of us said, like, did you notice how wrinkled she was? Well,
are you kidding?
Well, you know why? No, not that we were such bitches, but number one, no one knew at that time that she was really in serious cancer. But you had always seen that young goddess. All of a sudden, see her, the goddess, the young, Camelot.
How old is she? Did she even make it to? She was 60.
She was 60. No, I think older, 67 or something.
Okay.
No, she was no kid, and then the ravages of cancer. But
she was still beautiful.
But then it was funny because it wasn't placement fixe at the dinner. You got your plate, and then you sat, and this one vice president.
All right, back up. It wasn't what?
Fixed plates, with name cards, French. Placement placing fixe. Placement fixe.
Placement fixe.
Yeah,
I get it.
See.
Fixed
Anyway,
placement.
So one of my friends said, "Oh, come and sit at this table, Tom." Well, then who comes but Jackie? And at that point, this guy, Maurice Templesman, who
that was her boyfriend.
Yeah, of sorts.
What do you mean?
Well, I guess he was. Yeah. Oh, he was the biggest blowhole in the world.
And he was married. He was married.
That's right, he was, and he was a diamond salesman.
He was. I think he was almost like an Orthodox Jew, and that's why he wouldn't. Yeah, right. He was married, but he squired. And Jackie.
I bet he would have to be 75.
He was with her till the end, and apparently it was they did love each other.
But anyway, and he was just like blah 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 the whole time. So then he went to the bathroom, and I don't know, he was there for hours. So then she got to talk. Oh, and she was just charming. She told this story about when she was a young senatorial wife in Washington, she, as all the other wives, would get invited to these lunches of the wives, whatever.
Ladies who lunch.
And she said, sometimes they'd be very boring. So what she learned to do was, they would never have liquor because some of the people were, Muslim or something who were against liquor.
They weren't
Muslim. But if they had visitors who were like, the ambassador of Jordan or something, to Jordan, what have you. So she says she had this little crystal perfume bottle that she washed out, and she'd fill it with vodka, and then she would just very, very gently put it in her punch cup, and then she said, "Oh, we just laugh and tipple away." But that was amazing.
Well, you never told me you had a repast with Jackie.
Yeah, but that was so funny, though. But I mean, it was the first thing, what do you say when you meet? We both. It was so funny. No, I don't think anyone else I met, a lot of famous people, particularly because it was a museum, but that was the only one. I wasn't prepared.
Well, you weren't. It caught you flat-footed, and that can make you into a bumbling idiot.
But still, it was Jackie.
You managed to say hello.
Oh yeah, and then we
That's all you had to do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But and she had that little voice.
I know the voice was always weird.
Yeah, very well whispery. But that's what I guess debutantes.
I think that's how you were taught to speak.
Yes. I
know. Very odd. Can you imagine me speaking like that?
No.
I know. I know, Tom.
Well, I thought you were
We have to take something. No, I know. Tom is telling me that we have, oh my God, a break. Post haste.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Hey, Billy, want to go to the state fair?
Yeah!
Well, you can't.
Huh?
Well, you see, Billy, when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have done with it. But now your parents are becoming energy efficient. They could save hundreds of dollars a year and take you to the fair next year.
I want to go now.
I know you do. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Okay, I got something I'd like you guys to consider. Becoming a volunteer tutor at the Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council. You have time? Would you love to change somebody's life? Because the people you tutor are people who want to learn how to read. It's not some kid who's not interested. It is someone who's bound and determined. But they need a teacher. And the Literacy Council will teach you how to teach them. The Literacy Council does this one-on-one. You will have somebody that you give this gift to. The Literacy Council relies on good people like you who will volunteer to do that. And the fact is they don't have enough good people. They don't. So the people who want to learn how to read go to the Literacy Council and are told, we'll put you on the waiting list. We don't have anybody. Well, good God. Think of all the time you spend watching Honey Boo Boo. You could instead be doing something that makes the world a better place. And as one of the volunteers said, I know that I was told I would open up a life. Little did I know it would be my own. Go to their website, check it out. It's gplc.org, Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council.org, or call them at 412-393-7600, 393-7600. What a good way to spend an hour or so of a day.
Get Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com.
Yeah.
Does it take 6 months to get someone?
Tom is already thinking of volunteering.
Well, you think if you can't read, I mean, you can't do anything.
No, it's closed. The world,
it's like
closed.
being...
You teach someone to read, and you open up the entire world.
Yeah. I mean, well, certainly you think of the grander things, the pleasures of what reading does for you, about reading about Nepal if you may never go there. But just being able to know, like, to vote, to take driving tests, to be able to see if you're being screwed on a contract or a mortgage.
Well, I can read, I can read that stuff, and I don't know.
But still, to a certain point, on the more simple ones. It's just, oh, God.
It's a good thing to do.
Oh, God, yes.
Jim writes, Lynn, great show, but stop spreading the crap that all French people smell. Bad. You're right. You're absolutely right. And this is a memory from like 40 years ago.
He never had a problem with stinky French people.
I lived in France for quite some time, and I never had a problem with stinky French people.
Get on the
this
bus
is an outdated stereotype. Besides, I get on the bus twice a day, and you are likely to find just as many smelly people there. No, not true. I have never had a smelly person on the bus in Pittsburgh. You know where I most recently had a smelly person?
Where?
On a packed airplane from Charlotte to Pittsburgh.
That'd be awful.
Oh my God! I even tweeted my sister when the person said, cell phones off. I said, sitting next to a guy with serious BO. Help! And there was nowhere to go. Okay, Jim, point taken. And I mean, I'm talking about, now that we all know how old I am, I'm talking about 40 years ago. More.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you were mentioning something that was in the news was that there was some airplane problem, and the plane, one of the engines was burning or something, and it was going down. They obviously were able to land on a belly or something, but these two little kids who were flying alone, I guess someone was going to meet them. They twittered to their mother like, "Oh, the plane's going down," and the question was whether the aeronautics board or whatever, or the airline, was going to stop them from flying.
Because they tweeted?
Oh,
for God's sake.
I think there's a call.
Hello?
Hello. George.
Hi, George.
Tom.
Yes.
Hey, Tom, would you sign my petition to name a public place after a notable figure in communication who is not dead yet?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Would you sign my petition to name a public place after a notable figure in communication who is not dead yet?
Sure.
Who is not dead yet? 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 Who is not dead yet?
Well, I heard Lynn talk about this the other day, and if you're talking about Mr. McCullough, I think he's a wonderful writer and historian. But I sort of agree with Lynn that I think things like this should happen after someone's
post-mortem.
Post-mortem.
Well, exactly. I agree with her too. In fact, I sent her an email yesterday, and she's supportive of that. What we're doing secretly out here is we want to name a radio TV broadcast tower after Lynn when she passes away.
I think it'd be great.
Sorry, Lynn.
I think that'd be great.
That's okay. I said I would, even though dead, I would be thoroughly honored. But just to be honest, it would have to be a low wattage.
No, I think she deserves it. She's a great. I don't know what the female version of roué is. The French word for like. A sort of slightly, debonair but slightly treacherous man who sort of dupes young girls. Maybe just cougar. I don't know, but
no, I'm not a cougar.
Yes, you are.
Although I have to admit, I so love looking at young men now.
Well, see, we started out about
young people in general.
Prince Harry's fanny.
True. But young people in general, they're so beautiful. They
true,
don't even know it. They don't know it.
No.
I look at girls and I can tell they think they're not beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. Every young person looks gorgeous to me.
Fresh.
Yeah, they're fresh.
As opposed to nowadays, going back to Honey Boo Boo or whatever the stupid show is.
Yeah.
Where you have all these young kids, and I'm sure even this little girl, chubby as she may be.
Yeah, of course.
But when you put makeup and everything on when they're 6 years old, it leads to, what was that poor kid, Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Yeah.
That was so watching that when she ripped her skirt off. This is the creepiest thing I've seen in many, many eons.
PJ writes, what's crazy is that the smell of a male body odor can regulate the female menstrual cycle. Listen, you know what regulates female menstrual cycle? It's unbelievable how many things do.
Other ladies.
Did you hear that? I don't know if you guys heard that, but there's a maniacal laugh going on right outside the door.
It's a roué. Yeah.
A roué. But
because that's obvious.
Female menstrual cycle is the tide. The moon has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But anyone knows, every time women live together.
Yes, I've heard this, yes.
And that's bizarre.
Yeah.
You can start living together and your cycles are totally not together. And in fact, you might be very regular in your cycles, but somehow, little by little, within months, your cycles are there.
Yeah, interesting. But no, this thing that PJ tells us, it's probably because that's something that gets the animals together to mate at the moment.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
So don't ride in the French elevator unless you want to get a legitimate rape.
Oh, dear God in heaven. Okay. Let's urge Isaac on. Ever onward.
Yes.
Tampa. I love it. This was fun, Tom.
Yes, it was, dear.
Okay, and...
Till anon.
Till anon?
Yes.
Till later?
Yeah.
Adieu.
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 Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.